Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, and this is a field report from my actual Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition campaign, and me as a player, and my experience as a player, and what recently happened with my character, which is the second death of Tortle Wizard Folk Hero Beryl, who is my player character, my OC, my original character that I've been playing in our Omni Mastering game. Okay, so let me explain Omni Mastering. So we've kind of named our method. So in my tabletop role, in my current Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition campaign, we're using Omni Mastering, which means that every single player at the table is also a Dungeon Master. And we are passing off the Dungeon Master seat from session to session. And each Dungeon Master starts where the other Dungeon Master left off. This is not easy to do. There are some challenges, but we're having a real blast with it. And it is really, really fascinating, and we're just really having a great time with it. But so basically, I create my characters. I created this character, and I create all my characters pretty much the same way. Narrative first. It is a major problem at the table, and I'm not sure if we're gonna, I think right now the way we're solving the problem at the table is just my own flexibility and my own frustration, because it doesn't seem that any of the Dungeon Masters are able to manage the problem that exists. So I just want to explain this problem to you, because I think some of your players might have it, and this is this problem doesn't even exist in Pathfinder, because a player who played the way I do, I think would be swiftly booted in any Pathfinder game, 1E or 2E. So what I do is I build for narrative first. So my Tortle Wizard folk hero, Beryl, he has 14 hit points at 5th level, right? And what ends up happening is he goes down, and he has gone down he will go down in every single combat, right? The only question is if it's round 1 or 2, right? And it's so bad that the Dungeon Masters, one of the Dungeon Masters has actually almost put a moratorium on me making death saves. As soon as I drop down, he's like, none of the other player characters need to do anything. He'll just warn everybody, Scott will be up soon. And we're all like, what? And then he'll have some story reason why my character is up and running again quickly, right? Because he realizes everybody else at the table have made these mechanical builds. They've looked at all, here's the best subclass, right? And they're dealing literally often 3 to 5 to 8x damage I'm dealing. And they have double or triple the hit points. So basically my character's already died once, right? And I really love this Tortle Wizard. And this is the deep end of the pool, man. So I just fell in love with this Tortle Wizard, folk hero named Beryl. And something had happened with this guy that had never happened ever before. I always love my characters, right? But this one was really bittersweet when I hit the second death of Beryl. And I'll explain how we got there. But one thing that really made me care even more, and that made me just really sad that this character died, was one of the other player characters just went into the FLGS and bought a brand new Wizards of the Coast Tortle Wizard right off the shelf, right? And when I saw the Tortle Wizard mini that I had not picked, but that was bought for me, I just fell in love with the character even more. And just each week pulling that mini out and having that mini on the table, it just meant so much to me, because it was I was building the character and another player character was building, for me. And so I will just say, I can't believe how good the WizKids official Dungeons & Dragons minis are. You can find them at their local FLGS. They're right on the shelf. And they're $5 for 2 minis. They're ridiculously cheap, right? You will need some glue to glue them onto the base, but they're really fantastic. I think they're really, really wonderful. And you could do this for other player. If you're a player, this is something you could do for another player character, is just get them a mini for their character if they don't have one, right? And so it's the first time it's ever happened. It's just $5. What's $5? But it's something I'll always remember, right? And it was just a special thing that made me care a lot more about this character. So Beryl died the first time when he fought some Ankegs, and he was immediately, and no one in my party cared enough to resurrect him. They weren't willing to quest to resurrect Beryl. And so I came up with the idea to run him as a hollow one. And I thought this was like a clever way to cheat death and get a chance to run Beryl longer. I was wrong. It turned to tears and flames quickly. Immediately when my character was raised, the Dungeon Master allowed it, but they also immediately essentially attached a phylactery to my character as though they were a lich, right? So I was ready to pay the price of looking like an undead, but I didn't want to become evil. And two of the Dungeon Masters in our game just insisted that now that the Hollow One was essentially an undead playing as an actual player character, that the character had to be evil, right? Which really shocked me. I didn't see this coming. So, like, immediately the player character was attached to a phylactery. I was given an evil item which would give me secret powers and make me have all these wonderful things that would be useful if only I just touched it and gave in to evil. And, like, this was attached to the character, like, literally seconds after he was resurrected. And I was like, oh, man. So I was kind of like, so I made sure to wear gloves, not touch the object, put it into my backpack, because I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. And then I actually, like, kind of tried to clue the Dungeon Masters that I did not want to play an evil character. But I had this scene where I went into the local village in Phandalin, right? And there's a shrine there. And I said, my character goes up to the shrine, I put in a single gold coin, and I say, you know, whatever god is there, please help me to taste the cabbage again, right? And my character's a Tortle, so he eats cabbage. And I was saying, you know, I'm undead now. I can't, you know, I literally can't taste things. I'm removed from life. But, you know, whatever god is there, restore me, resurrect me, right? And because I didn't want to just, like, touch the evil phylactery in my backpack and then play evil and attack my player characters, because I knew that was where we would end up, right? And I was just frustrated and a little, like, you know, so... But I really, you know, so I just want to warn you, like, I really thought that playing a Hollow One would work. It doesn't, right? Like, two different Dungeon Masters, the moment my character was undead, really expected me to make that character evil, right? And it ended with one Dungeon Master saying, hey, here's this evil, I'm going to tie this evil object to you. You'd better shift your alignment evil soon. And then, you know, which was frustrating. I get where it's coming from. I'm an evangelical Christian, and it's not fair for me to expect others to not understand why I wouldn't want to play an evil character. But I did think that they would get that, because they had known me, that they had known, one of the DMs had known me long enough to know that would be a problem. But it was a little bittersweet. And so then a second Dungeon Master, we go into a dungeon, we clear the dungeon out, we get 1,200 gold, but we find a mechanism created by Orcus followers, right? We go back into the dungeon, re-prepped, and we actually activate the mechanism of Orcus to see if we could find more treasure down below. And all that happened was my character was taken over by Orcus, or by one of Orcus's minions. And then my character, I was compelled to attack one of the other player characters, and from there it was all over, right? Because one of the other player characters just literally caved in Beryl's head with a warhammer, right? And he was completely right to do it. I had attacked him with a lightning bolt, and then attacked him again because I failed my second compulsion roll, and the Dungeon Master was like, oh, we'll fix this, and I was like, there's nothing to fix here, right? Like, I tried to cheat death by playing a Hollow One, but the cost that the Dungeon Master is imposing on this is that I play an evil character, and I'm not willing to pay that cost. And so I let Beryl's death stand, and it was really sad. I really wish I had been able to not go down this road, and I had been able to achieve a better outcome for Beryl. I had Beryl for about 7 or 8 sessions, and it was really, I had a blast playing him. He was really one of my most memorable characters. I really loved playing him. The game is great. It was a bad end of one bad session. I already know what I'm playing next. I'm going to play a Leonin Druid A Leonin Druid Soldier. Very excited about this. I'm excited to delve into the Theros book. But that's a report from the ground. Now, I am curious. I'm a little bittersweet about this. I really feel a little bitter toward the two dungeon masters. Our game's continuing. We're not ending the game or anything. I didn't, take my ball and go home or anything. But I am a little bittersweet about it. I really feel like I had given enough clues to the dungeon masters that I didn't want to play a evil character. Do you think it was fair for two different dungeon masters to require being an evil character to play a hollow one? Or do you think that's prejudice toward hollow ones? I'd love to hear. I think it's prejudice toward hollow ones, personally. And also not reading your player, right? That's my take, though. They're both dungeon masters who are doing a good job. Overall, far more of their decisions are good than bad, but I really feel like this is a bad decision, and I feel like this wasn't on me, this is on them. But, am I wrong? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.